Hey, what is going on YouTube? Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in the Hampshire, even though it's definitely Hampshire, mainly because we won the war back in the day. No, I'm just kidding. A few quick announcements before we get to this epic replay. Number one, happy Thanksgiving. Number two, happy Black Friday. That is when I'm recording this video. So I hope all you guys had a blessed Thursday if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, and a happy Thanksgiving otherwise. If you guys were on my stream Wednesday, however, you will know that Wargaming actually made Black Friday a little special this year. Due to my achievement of 9K subscribers, they gave me 4 ships of tiers 4, 5, 6, and 7 of premium ships that are available in the store to give away. Like I said, if you were on the stream or rewatched the Wednesday stream, we have already given away the tier 4 and tier 5 ship, which I tried to make it as easy as possible. And again, the giveaways, guys, are not easy, but yeah, that was part of the stream. So it's a little funny adventure if you want to go back and watch it. But I will be giving away the tier 6 and tier 7 either tonight or tomorrow or Sunday. I will be giving them away very soon on stream. We're going to be doing it live on stream, and the rules will kind of come to follow. But if you want to, win a ship, make sure you guys tune into that. But alas, here we get to the gameplay of the Hampshire here. She was re-released to the store with a slight reload nerf, as I think they took away her spotter plane as well. But like I said earlier, or in a different take of me doing this video, I think Wargaming is doing the right thing in looking at the balancing of the game, especially in terms of the ships. Now, that being said, I think certain maps and certain spawns could definitely look at, and adjustments could be made. But regardless, I think they're doing a great job. And the reason being is when this thing was released, you guys saw me do the Friday feature of Meta's XP record, and then some people apparently said that JXG2 smashed that record and got a 5200 base XP game, which is just absolutely crazy. I feel like certain ships like the Mino and other ships get a little extra XP boost for having AP only. I don't know what it is, but certain, it just feels like they get that XP boost. But regardless, this ship has absolutely overperformed in the rental phase. And we only knew that because it was in a rental phase. Imagine if people bought the ship and then Wargaming nerfed it. So I really enjoy the rental ships, being open to the public to test. Now, that being said, it does kind of ruin some of the new and fun factor of knowing, or guessing or being surprised by what ships are upcoming, as you can almost, assure yourself that rental ships are coming in the future. But regardless, I think it's a great idea. And not only that, they are getting a larger, sample size of what to test. Now, that being said, they did buff the anchorage. So I don't know. But I think that the balancing of the game is doing better overall. I still think it has a long way to go, but regardless, yeah, let's get into the gameplay here. You guys have noticed I have been an absolute island boy for the opening minutes of this game, and this is actually probably one of the riskiest spots I put myself in, but we did have some good team support. You can see a lot of battleships are behind us. If you'll notice, even though we are being an island boy, however, we are very close to the cap, and what that does is allow us to provide support in many different ways. Here we just popped the Hydro because there is obviously a destroyer in the cap. As the cap, you can see, it was last spotted, but also the cap is contested. And our Sims here, this destroyer, who I think it was a Sims, was in this cap here, does a fantastic job. But this is the exact scenario I was talking about the other day, or 2 days ago rather, in my Kitakaze video. Yes, he is getting the cap, but you can see that there is a lot of ships on this flank, a Bismarck, a Veneto, a Fiji, a Suzuya, the Nagato's coming this way, as well as that destroyer. So like 2/3 of the enemy team is over here. So just retreat, right? Instead of risking his ship, he can just kind of fall back and torpedo and allow us to kind of DPM and the battleships to Alpha Strike. But anyway, we're just going to sit here and try and get these crossfires. The Hampshire has some, or Hampshire, gosh, it's Hampshire. That's what it is from now on. The Hampshire has some good angles, reverse kiting, and even some forward angles, but you definitely want to utilize island cover when you can. We've talked about this in our first look video and our review, as your armor is not that great. You do have a strong belt, of course, so if you do angle, but any overmatch to your deck or bow and stern, and you're just going to be getting absolutely pummeled. But by pretty much every battleship at tier 7. But with that insane, the insane 203mm guns and the decent rate of fire, we mentioned it was nerfed. You can notice we already have a decent chunk of damage, and we've only been spotted a few times. Positioning is going to be absolutely essential in this ship. You can potentially run this ship as an agile build, but for some reason it feels even less agile than she did in the past. I don't know if they I don't know, it just feels a little bit more sluggish. But if you do run a few agility perks, I'm sure you can whip that right up. But to me, positioning is more important than like we've said this so many times, but I'll just say it again. Instead of worrying about, trying to dodge, why not put yourself in a spot where they can't shoot you to begin with? And I know my, egotistical battleship mains are going to be like, well, come out and fight like a man. Well, no, you have better armor, stronger guns, etc. Anytime you can utilize island cover to the benefit of your team, not the detriment. Now, we've talked about this as well. If I'm sitting behind the furthest most island spamming at 18 and a half kilometers in a cruiser, you're probably not doing your job. But here, I think, is an excellent display of how to, manage island cover. Now, again, we could have been shot one or two times. This Nagato, it might be his first game in that ship. But by managing this island cover here and angling as well, we have mitigated a tremendous amount of damage and traded none of our health for 70,000 of their health. And if you think about it in terms of like trades and simplistic nature, I know T-Bull used to do that a lot. Rest in peace, T-Bull. But trading and damage, off-putting are huge factors in winning, right? If you go in and you just ram another battleship, you didn't do really anything for your team. Yes, of course, you got that enemy battleship off the board, but if I can trade twice the amount of health that I have, in terms of, let's say it's 100, just an example here, 100,000 HP, and I can get 200,000, I am doubling my damage output in terms of my HP. But here's a little bit of a tricky situation, just like we talked about with that Sims and Asasio. The Asasio has him spotted here, and I want to shoot, but you notice that Veneto did take a shot at us, and we're kind of in a tough spot. But as soon as we kind of get going here and get away and get the ability to kind of use our rudder and dodge a little bit, we decided to take a shot at that Asasio, as you should always shoot at destroyers. But now we have lost that position. You also notice we are down a destroyer, which is a huge disadvantage. But what we're going to try and do now is simply reset them. We get a few resets on the Veneto here. We launch a few torpedoes. We don't want to overturn, and I almost do that, but we actually look at the Veneto guns, and he is focused on that battleship out on the flank. So despite that battleship not YOLO rushing in, he actually makes the correct play in this situation, right? As he is kind of holding that crossfire, you can see the Veneto and the Nagato focus on him while we sort of cut back to the inside. And you will also notice our two teammates at Charlie, I believe one of which pinged me or whatever. He was a viewer of the channel, so GG's to him. They are working their way back into the Bravo cap at this point and getting the crossfire on the enemy. And this is what we talk about on the opposite side. We are on the weak side in this situation as we get a beautiful salvo into the mid belt and the superstructure of that Nagato, and we actually get a torpedo to connect on that Veneto. So utilizing all of the tools in our arsenal, we have managed nearly 108,000 damage for the cost of 5,000 of our own. Now, of course, other ships did have to pay, but if you get a destroyer, who's going to spot for you, you can utilize that island cover. This ship will be an excellent addition to any fleet. Now here you'll notice we are still kiting away. I actually wanted to turn around here, but I knew that Asasio is going to get us detected, so we actually turned back on the rudder, and here we're just waiting for the next salvo. So I specifically remember I was like, all right, I'm just going to wait for the next salvo of the Veneto, and you can see our two ships in the middle, which are rather healthy, are moving in. We have the two caps, and we have the point advantage, so the only thing we need to do here is basically not die, and you can actually see the Veneto kind of got our tail in there and chunked us for a good bit of health. So just I love when the game, proves exactly what I'm talking about. This ship is not meant to attract that much damage, and of course you do have a little bit of the super heals there. I don't know if they're true super heals, but you do have the good heals, so you can repair a lot of that damage. I would suggest, however, not trying to repair that damage early game and wait until around this point in the game. You will also notice we do not have our firing ring concealment out, or at least we didn't. And what that tells us is that Asasio has moved into our concealment. Another one of the strengths of the Hampshire, it's definitely Shire, not Sheer, is the fact that you have, with a little bit of a concealment module and build, you have a very good concealment. I think ours is 9.6 as we tick another hit on that Veneto, which puts us at approximately 30% of the total enemy damage, which, as we know, is the high caliber. You saw a set of torpedoes go by us, so we're going to wait just a little bit, and when we kind of feel is the right time, we're going to go ahead and press that Hydro. There she is, and what that's going to do is obviously let us know advance advanced warning of torpedoes, and a huge kill on that Veneto, as now there is no overmatch to our boat. So we're just going to push straight in, especially with our Hydro. And if you'll notice our position in combination with our teammates' position, we basically have this destroyer and all of the enemy ships really triangulated into a crossfire. And that is when we catch the Asashio. So no radar needed. We do have the Hydro, which kind of puts us, in that spotting ring of him. I think he was surface detected, though. I don't think our Hydro goes that far. And here I kind of remember, I was like, wow, this thing is a lot less maneuverable than I remember. I don't remember it being this kind of sluggish, but we've got him in our Hydro range at this point, and he doesn't have any smoke. So he is dead to rights. I'm not going to lie. I feel like we should have finished him a bit sooner. But I was also trying to get the double strike. So I put the secondaries on him. I turned my guns towards the Suzuya, and then I was like, you know what? He has a reload booster as we cheese that shot. But we go ahead and get the elimination on him, and then we turn towards the Suzuya. So we do have our Hydro running, and he also launched a second set of torpedoes, so we're not necessarily worried about those. We're going to aim high here, aim right at the superstructure. Probably a little bit of an overturn. That Suzuya AP could have ripped us, but we get yoinked on the kill, but we do get actually enough damage to tick the Confederate. So 3 kills, high caliber Confederates, a kill on a destroyer, and of course the final kill here. Watch it on the little camera. Cool ships, cool players don't look at explosions. We led that shot perfectly into the broadside Fiji, and the AP on this thing is just absolutely disgusting. So a very good game. Obviously, I'm a little biased in that regard, but 150k, only 2952 XP. We, of course, missed out on the cool medal, the Kraken there, as we got our Suzuya kill stolen, but I've mentioned so many times before, kills are irrelevant. Yes, it feels bad in the moment to miss the kill on the Suzuya, but it helped us win the game as we give a little bit of a flex there. But yes, guys, that is the Hampshire. Still an incredible ship, even with the slight nerf. And there is our commander. It is Bruce Fraser with the Miss Santa guys. It's basically the same as my Mino build. I think it's exactly the same as my Mino build. I don't really change builds too much anymore. I'm at that point in my Warships career where it's just like, you know what, let's just play the game. If I miss one perk or something on my build, I think I forget what I was running on my, it was a truly messed up build. So if you see something truly obnoxious, it's probably because I forgot it. But yeah, that is the buffed Hampshire. I have a full review of her. I'll try and link that video. But yeah, she's available in the store. Make sure you guys tune into the stream for the giveaway. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Black Friday. Aaron out. Peace.